Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And of course, many of you are watching it on your television. Others are listening on KSLO, 1230 a.m. on your dial, and 105.3, which is a new addition to our arrangement of getting the message out, the good news out. And 105.3 has a coverage area thanks to Chris Lamke with KSLO and 105.3. 105.3 covers St. Landry, Evangeline, Avoyelles, Point Capee, some of Rapides, and some of Acadia.
So we've added thousands more.
Lots of people can now listen to us, and we're going to, from time to time, try to speak to people out there. They won't be able to see us unless they enjoy what they
on the internet.
Then they can go to the internet.
Sure.
and get it on the internet. So many of you are watching it on the internet, and we certainly appreciate the good words you say about the program, how clear it comes in, and how easy it is to get to these days. And we want to start off. I had a call last night. That was Tuesday night. We tape on Wednesday mornings from Mr. Joe Smith with Joe Smith Furniture Store. Joe called, and his voice was a little weak, was a little shaky. His lovely wife, and a person we've spoken about a whole lot of times, Miss Jane Smith, who had cancer and has been in remission now for quite a number of years, several years. And she was a firm believer that it was all the prayers that were offered by all of us by this means and other means of getting the message out. So if you will, please remember Jane and Joe, because it's not just one person. The spouse is equally involved in taking care of this person, getting this person to the medical facilities, and of course, she is at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas. And I guess you could say they're a little fortunate. She'll be able to move in at least at some point with her daughter who lives in Houston.
Right.
And they'll be able to take her to the various treatments, and she's going to be taking some therapy. And just a lovely, lovely lady. And so please remember the family, and especially Miss Jane, who's undergoing cancer treatments again.
And while we're talking about Joe Smith Furniture here in Opelousas, you can go right now. They're having that huge tax season sale. You know, a lot of people getting those refunds in, and you want to do something with that refund. Don't just play and throw that away playing games on the weekend. You can go and you can spend it on something that's nice to improve your home, with a nice bedroom set, nice dining room set, maybe a living room set as well. They've got sofa and love seat combinations on sale, 5-piece table and chairs on sale for $200. They've got the mattress outlet. You know, I keep looking at my mattress. It's about that time. My wife said, you know, it's about time to upgrade, you know, because my back is crooked. You know, you got to take care of that back.
That bed has a lot to do how you're going to feel all the hours that you're awake during the day.
That's right. Joe Smith Furniture. How about
what about the Slimco Scholarship?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Slimco, go ahead. Talk about that.
Well, each year we're very fortunate. Slimco allows us to be one of, I guess, the messengers of announcing that they are now accepting scholarship applications for the 2011 period. And the entry deadline is May 5th, so you have plenty of time.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, you do remember that. And your application has to be mailed in, postmarked by May the 5th. Or if you'd like to bring it over there or mail it in ahead of time, please do so. Many of you have to be a Slimco
customer or child of the customer.
That's correct. And if you're still using mom and dad's home address as your principal, although you may be living in a dormitory or like that,
then that's still
at college, you still eligible for one of these scholarships. So we'll keep you informed, keep you kind of abreast.
Go to slimco.com. You can download a form, nice and easy.
And in June, when they hold their huge annual party, I call it a party because the music starts right after 6 o'clock in the morning when they open the doors, and that's when they announce the winners of these scholarships.
How about this? How about Huge Annual? Huge Annual this Sunday, February 27th, is the 26th Annual Beef Cook-Off right behind the Yamblee Building. Great time to go out there and sample all the different ways that they cook and promote beef. If you're a cattle farmer, you want to go by. If you're just like me, you like to manger that beef, go by and go get something to try. And there's a cooking contest. If you're interested in competing or going by, call Daniel Lyons, 945-0364.
Saw him on television this morning. Good morning, Mr. Daniel.
My note came from Mr. Joe Hidalgo.
And we're going to show a picture of Joe Hidalgo's wife, but you'll have to know
who it is.
But anyhow, in pictures coming up, and we want to thank Joe Hidalgo for being one of the retreatants who, historically, for the last 10 years or so, at one time he came to our retreat.
Right, in the spring.
In the spring. Then it ended up the beef cook-off fell on the same weekend as our weekend, so that he had to choose to go to the August. Well, this year he has a choice, and he's coming back with us.
So,
and we're glad, Joe.
And we want to remind everybody that retreat, it's a silent retreat in Grand Coteau at Our Lady of the Oaks retreat house right there. You've got access. You can walk around during the day to St. Charles College. You can walk all around St. Charles Borromeo Church. Walk all the way to the Academy. Beautiful grounds, beautiful atmosphere in the area, great spiritual talks. It starts Thursday night, May 3rd, and goes all the way through Sunday. So you really only have to miss one day of work, that Friday. You give me a call at 337-351-0732, and I can get you in. I still got a couple of rooms left. And if you know somebody who'd be interested, pass on my number. Tell them to get with Andrew.
We're going to talk a little bit about some baseball, because LSU's baseball team starting off with a big bang, and of course one of our own Acadiana young men is off to a good start. He ended up with a good year last year, and I'm speaking of Mikey Matuk. And there's a picture here of his beautiful mama, and it looks like he must have just hit a home run right here. And she lives in Lafayette, and that's where the family is still. Well, his mother, he lost his father I think at a pretty young age.
Father was a great LSU football star. Everyone assumed the boy would be a great LSU football star too. I mean, you can just see that same kind of personality and size. And mom's a pretty lady, and they made a pretty baby. And that boy ends up being one of the best baseball players we've had at LSU in a long time.
And I've been hearing of Mikey for a long time because his uncle, who tried to play a role of assisting him, Robbie Matu, is an attorney and has done some work for some of our organizations over the years, a real nice fella, and he practices right there in Lafayette. So to all of you all, and the baseball team, of course, is doing well. I think the girls' softball team is they might have gotten beat. I'm not sure.
They did.
But let's come to UL, and I don't have my red shirt on.
Basketball is going well there, man. They caught on fire.
They had lost about 9 in a row at the beginning of the season.
Feared the beard. They got the big Thomas kid that's originally from the Opelousas area. He got his head shaved clean, but he got the beard nice and thick and long.
Now a lot of the student body has bought some black beards, and I
saw the new president was wearing a beard. The new president of the university was wearing a beard.
I tell you what, it's really fired them up. So keep up the good work. It's certainly a motivational, and the softball team, of course, the girls' softball team
has always been good.
It's good, and the baseball team is generally a very good team also. And the new coach seems to have
in basketball,
in football.
In football, yeah.
Well, the new Coach Marlin in basketball is doing very well. The new football coach seems, although he came in at the last minute,
he signed a lot of good kids.
He signed a lot of good kids. So let's hope we can see a nice turnaround in that program. And did get from T-Bob Hebert.
Not T-Boy.
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 always get it
T-Boy
backwards.
Hebert from Kenner, Louisiana. He sends me some updates. I give a little donation to the Athletic Foundation, and he keeps me abreast. And of course, he brought me up to the Kentucky Derby one year, a few years ago, with Steve Hartman. I was friends with Steve, and about 8 or 10 of us had bought a horse.
Right.
And Mike Wallet had helped us choose the horse.
Right.
And the horse never turned out that well, but it kept a lot of us friends, made some good friends, and we did get to visit the Kentucky Derby.
There you go.
Not with our horse, but some fond memories. So to all of the sports fan, and of course NASCAR had just an outstanding, all week long, they had dedications and programs and events honoring the 10th year of the death of Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Correct.
Number 3. And in the third lap of the Sunday Daytona 500, the third lap, that was number 3, and everybody in the stands put up the 3 fingers, and nobody spoke. I mean, you could barely, it looked like they tuned the engines even down, and quite an impressive. And his son, Dale Jr., who's the most popular NASCAR driver on the circuit, had qualified first.
Had won the pole.
And won the pole, and he was practicing with one of his own teammates, and it's all about pushing.
And had a little
They
bump.
pushed, and somebody else came along, kind of messed him up, and he wrecked his car, so he had to start in the back. But within, I don't remember the amount of laps, but within 25 to 50 laps, he had already moved to the front. Unfortunately, he had a flat right at the end and had to move back
because of a wreck.
And didn't have enough opportunity to move
KSLO,
back
see you on the
up.
other side of 3.
But there was a 20-year-old. He made 20 year
That weekend.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And Sunday, his first try at a Daytona 500. It's only his second sprint race. First one at Daytona, and he wins it, and wins it in an easy fashion. I mean, he looked like he was.
Well, it looked easy, but them other boys, them old timers,
were
was right
pushing him.
behind him.
They were pushing him.
And I said, he kept saying, because he led the last 2 laps, he kept saying, I know they're going to make their move.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing left to move with. They had given all they had.
Yeah, it was a beautiful race.
Great ending.
Jimmy Como, in case you and Miss Vicky are watching the program this morning, good morning to you all. Jimmy was very satisfied because he's a Junior fan, and Junior made a real good run at it. It wasn't his fault that he didn't win. And it only have about 10 drivers that are under 30 years old. It's getting kind of an older group. So it was nice to see this 20-year-old, and I mean a nice kid, speaks well, well educated, accepted the victory, very.
And he won for the two Woods brothers, who of course years ago ate up the track back in the 70s. I mean, they were the dominant one with Dave Pearson.
Yep,
was their driver.
and had never won again. So it was a big, and it was nice to see all the drivers after the race. I watched for a good while, and going up, his competitors in the race, going up and giving him a congratulations, hugged him, and just gave him encouragement. And they were equally as glad for the Wood brother team.
Right.
Great guys, and just they needed this spark to continue getting sponsors.
You got to win.
Not easy to get sponsors these days.
You saw the thing about the banana cake?
Yes, sir. And whoever gave it to me, this article, thanks. In fact, they gave me that copy.
Right.
Of the article, and
well, Miss Marla Faust, of course, was married to Derek with the local Sears, and she's a teacher. Came up with this banana recipe, and she submitted it. I say banana.